Hey guys, good to be with you again as we continue our story from the book of Isaiah. In the previous stories, Isaiah has seen the holiness of God, he's realized his own sin, and just before this story, God has sent a seraph with a coal to cover his sin and take away his sin. And that leads us to the next part of our story. Isaiah says, "And then I heard the voice of the Lord say, 'Whom shall I send? Who will go for us?' And then I said, 'Here I am, send me.'" And that's our story from God's Word. So, I wonder what it might have been like to be Isaiah and you've come to the realization of your holiness, comparing yourself to other people, and you realize there's nothing you can do. And then God provides a way of not only having your sin atoned for, covered up, but of having it taken away. I wonder what he might have felt like. Now I wonder, in this part of the story, which is a very short part, but I wonder what we might learn about Isaiah's spiritual condition. He's gone from recognizing his sin to having his sin taken away, and then he hears the voice of God. Curious, do you think we can learn anything from the way that what God says is phrased? Whom shall I send? Who will go for us? I mean, might that tell us anything about the person of God? Do you think it's possible that this could be an indication of a declaration of the Trinity? And then earlier on in the story, we saw the seraphim declaring, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts." I wonder if those two things combined might indicate some things about God that would possibly help us to see that he's a little more complicated than what some other religions might talk about. Well, I wonder what we might learn about Isaiah, that as soon as he hears this, according to the story, I mean, what do you see there? Do you see like he's just instantly jumping up and he's ready? I wonder what that might tell us about his spiritual condition, if we might see anything about the fact that he has an appreciative heart for what God has done for him. What do you think? The fact he recognized his sin and now it's taken away, and now he has an opportunity. I'm curious, do we see God saying, "Okay, now that you're cleansed from your sin, you need to do this for me"? I mean, could God have said that? Could God have responded in some other way than just saying, "Whom shall I send? Who will go for us?" I mean, I wonder what that might tell us about God. I mean, he's extending a call, but do you see him applying pressure to Isaiah to be the one that answers the call, or simply providing the opportunity? I wonder what that might show us about the offering of God to serve him. Does it seem like there's a choice involved? I wonder what we might learn about Isaiah. I mean, do you see him being excited to serve? I mean, we're going to see later on in the story, he didn't fully understand what God was calling him to do, but his obedience wasn't to the call, it was to the need that he saw, to the opportunity he saw to serve God. I wonder today, does God extend that same kind of call, just a general call to go for him into wherever? I wonder today, are there still people that think they need to serve God to pay him back? Is that what we see in this story? Wonder about yourself. How do you envision God calling you? How do you envision your service to the Lord? Do you envision yourself paying Him back, or do you envision yourself doing this out of the joy of what He has done for you? How might this story help you in the future? How can you see God extending this call in a loving and open-handed way? How do you see that helping you in the future as God begins to speak to your heart and speak to you through His Word? Hey, I'd love to have you add some things in the comments. I know some of you will see things in this story in a different way than I do, in a different way than I have. I would love to see your responses. It would help me out tremendously. And if you find a way that this passage applies to your own life that maybe we haven't talked about, I would love to know that as well. Additionally, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, sure would be a help to us. We're trying to build this thing up, and I know it's a massive effort of touching that button. I'm just kidding, but we sure would appreciate it. So I'm looking forward to getting to know you guys better through these stories. So until the next time, keep on telling those Bible stories.